Hey, what's going on, guys? Sinister Skater here, and we are going to be giving Advanced Warfare its final rating and review. Advanced Warfare is pretty much done. The Black Ops 3 hype is real right now, and I thought it'd be cool if we did a little review on the thing and just kind of get a wrap up for the game and then see how you guys felt about the game as a whole since we've played it for the past, what, like 9-10 months. And get a real feel for it. So I'm not an official IGN reviewer. I don't know how they make their rating systems or rate different games and compare them to each other in general. So this review will kind of be in comparison with the past Call of Duties, and I'm using my own skill I've created here. I've been trying to figure out how to balance the 3 different modes, campaign, multiplayer, and the Exo stuff. And I look back and like how much time I've spent in all the modes and what Sledgehammer may think, and this is what I came up with. You may not agree with me, but this is what I came up with. I made the single player campaign worth 20 points out of 100. The Exo-Zombies and Exo-Survival mode were 10 out of 100, and multiplayer worth 70. And each have their own little subcategories, pretty much worth 5 points each. And we're going to be doing that. So I would like to know what you guys would rate the game, and I know there's a lot of varying opinions, so it'll be pretty interesting. So if you could do so by giving it a rating out of 10 down below in the comments, or you can use my rating system, which I'll have all the categories and the totals at the end of this video when we finish the complete review, so you can pause there, get your totals, and then give your score down below. But with that, let's get right into it, starting with the campaign. We have 2 categories, both worth 10 points. We have the story and the gameplay and customization. The gameplay and customization is getting 10 points out of 10. The gameplay, it's awesome. Just like any other Call of Duty campaign you'd play, you can't really downgrade it. And there was a lot of customization options. It was just like you don't just go in and play. You could upgrade your Exo and get different abilities. It was cool. Story, it had that Call of Duty feel to it. It was memorable, creative, and fun to play. Could use some tweaks here and there, so that's why it's getting an 8. Making the campaign get 18 out of 20 or 90% overall. Now to Exo-Survival and Exo-Zombies, worth 10 points. We have 2 5-point categories for Survival and Zombies. Exo-Survival is getting a 1, Exo-Zombies getting a 3. Survival was a cheap extra mode like Spec Ops. We had it before, we just played on multiplayer maps that we play on all the time. It was boring. The Zombies, I haven't really played all of them, so I can't get a real accurate review. I played the first 2, they're alright. There's something you could play if you didn't want to play multiplayer, play another game and still be entertained. Like decent difficulty, had a story to it. They tried doing their thing to top Zombies, but it wasn't too entertaining, so it's getting a 3, totaling a 4 out of 10 for the Exo Survival and Zombie modes, giving it a 40%. Now I move on to the good stuff, the multiplayer. Each category is worth 5 points total unless otherwise stated. There's only one other category that's worth 10 actually. So first we're going to talk about the Exo Suit. The Exo Suit itself is getting its own category because it's like the core structure of the game. The gameplay is built off of it. Everything's built off of it. It's just very important and it's brand new. It's just going to get its own category to separate the other categories and just make them a little easier to rate without the Exo Suit, in this case, weighing them down. Now, it's cool, but I don't like it. I don't know, it just feels clunky when you move with it, and you could say it added skill to the game, but it just, I think it made it more complicated and frustrating for more people than it actually made it fun. The controls were just kind of weird, and it made the game too fast, I would say. I didn't like the Exo Suit overall, and that was a big turnoff for a lot of people, so my rating for the Exo Suit is a 2 out of 5. Next category, we're going to talk about the maps. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 here. The maps were designed well. They had some cool features, some cool map-based kill streaks, but I didn't like how they were actually structured and forced certain gameplays, especially the Exo gameplay. It's kind of hard to separate these two, so it might be, the Exo might be weighing this one down just a little bit, but later on in the last 2 DLCs, they had more classic 3-lane maps and just better maps overall that played smoother. And just the core maps, I'm talking about the core maps here, they just didn't have that spice and they're kind of boring to me, but they were still good, so I'm giving them a 3 out of 5. Next category, we have the game modes, which I'm giving a 3 out of 5. There were a ton of playlists. You had the standard playlist with like, I don't know, maybe 14 game modes total. You had the hardcore playlist, the bonus playlist, the grapple playlist, the DLC playlist. Lots of options. We had 2 new game modes, Momentum and Uplink, that were introduced, which were really fun. Uplink was really fun for competitive play too. I'm glad that's coming back to Black Ops 3. So you had those, and then most of the game modes we've seen in previous version, so it's Call of Duty. It's what you're always gonna have. Now, I'm just gonna say this. The one thing I wish is that we had more new game modes. Like, I want more original game modes. I'm just finding myself playing either Kill Confirm, Domination, Hardpoint, or Momentum, and maybe once in a blue moon some free for all or some TDM. But like I said, I want more fresh modes. I almost wish they'd only have maybe 5 returning modes from previous Call of Duties, and then just make completely new modes, throw the other modes out just for maybe one game, and just have completely new modes or extremely revamp the existing ones for just more new modes, I guess. I'm just kind of sick of playing the old stuff over and over and over again on a new Call of Duty, so kind of have high hopes for that in the future. We'll see what happens. Back on track with this review, balance. We're going to talk about gun balance. I believe this game was fairly balanced, to be honest, and the balance category is getting a 4 out of 5. People say the BAL is OP or it's the best gun in the game, but every Call of Duty has that go-to gun that most people are going to use and think is the best. But this game had many other options than the BAL. Like, thinking of some top guns, thinking off the top of my head, I'm thinking BAL, AK-12, the STG, you had the HBR, the KF5, the ASM-1. Some may say that the SAC-3, I think they're called. You know, TAC-19, Bulldog, the Moore Sniper, Atlas, a Melee. That's a lot of weapons that are top tier and they compete with other weapons. And then you can add weapon variants into there, and you can throw guns like the ARX Steelbite in there. That's a really, really good gun. And people may say the variants are OP. Obsidian Steed may be OP, but Elites and Legendaries are supposed to be the best guns. They're supposed to be better than the base weapons, and everyone has a chance to get them, so it's not like it's unfair. And the variants counter other variants. They have a nice balance between themselves, and you know, that's my opinion. So 4 out of 5 for the balance. On to customization. This is going to be a quick one. It's getting a 5 out of 5. You cannot disagree that this game had the most customization, hands down. Many options from different weapons, weapon variants, attachments, perks, character gear, and just there's a lot of stuff to choose from, and I liked it. Next category, we have progression, getting a 5 out of 5 as well. Now, in progression, I mean as you progress throughout Call of Duty, kind of like the prestiging and how things unlock and all that. So, the unlock rates seem very well spread out. You get unlock tokens, which can unlock your favorite stuff, and pretty much you didn't lose progression on challenges and even weapons once you hit Master Prestige. And you also kept your camo progression, which was really great after you prestiged. The levels weren't too, they weren't super, you needed a ton of XP just to get to this level. They even added more master prestiges with rewards, which kept you going, and you had a goal to reach, and the progression in this game was awesome. 5 out of 5. Now, a couple more categories. We got supply drops. I have 2 categories for the supply drops. You got the normal and then the advanced supply drops. The normal supply drops, 5 out of 5. It just added a ton of variety to the game, like a little RNG factor to it, added all the variants. They were just awesome. It was a very good feature, and I kind of wish they implement things like those into more Call of Duty, because it just added the whole customization feature. Now the advanced supply drops, getting a 3 out of 5. I'm indifferent about these. This is cool, but I can think of cool ways to implement supply drop or advanced supply drops instead of just you can buy them or you get them every 10 levels, or maybe even revamping the regular supply drop system to make the advanced supply drops more worthy. But I don't think the advanced supply drop should have been purchasable. I think Sledgehammer may have realized that later on in the game, and that's all I'm going to say about that. If you want more in-depth information about the supply drops, advanced supply drops, I made a video that I'll link down below in the description where I talk more about those, so you can go check that out. Next category, we have matchmaking / connection / lag. You know, it's all the same. And this category is getting a 3 out of 5. This game had pretty fast matchmaking. I wasn't ever waiting in a lobby forever. Fair matchmaking wasn't too hard, you know. 70% of the time I got put in a game that's already started, so that was kind of annoying. Wish they would have fixed that. And you know, a lot of people said they had bad problems with the connection. Personally, I haven't, except for in the very, very, very beginning of the game. You know, you run into this problem sometimes, wasn't too bad. Nothing was too special about it, you know, it's just average, and you can't blame there's no dedicated server, so connection's bad. Because, yeah, they weren't, but connection was fine. I didn't have a problem with it, getting a 3 out of 5. Now, another category some of you may not have thought about, I'm talking about sound right here. Sound is getting a 3 out of 5. biggest problem with sound I have is there's no footsteps. Footsteps are non-existent in this game. And for the most part, this game's just really loud and all you hear is exos and explosions. There's a cool thing, you know, they had some cool sound design features. Guns reacted in different environments. You'd have like an echoey thing in the hallway and it'd be normal outside or something like that. But besides that, you know, audio is kind of average. And yeah, now let's talk about gameplay. This one's out of 10 and I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. At first this game had a very steep learning curve with the Exo in it, and you know, it was extremely fresh, a nice fresh breath of new gameplay for about like 3 months. And a lot of people loved it or a lot of people hated it. I really loved it at first, but after 3 months I didn't really like it. I was just doing camo challenges and kind of forcing myself to play. I wasn't really having fun, so I put it down, picked up Destiny, and then didn't play COD until like May, June, and I started really enjoying it more. I don't know if it was just the break or the new maps, new features, who knows, but you know, overall it was fast-paced like most Call of Duties. It played pretty well. You had those BS kills once in a while, or those off games that are due to mixture problems, but that's in every Call of Duty. Just giving it a 7 out of 10. It wasn't anything too special. It was a nice fresh breath of air, but just the Exo's tying with this too, so it kind of brought it down a little bit. And this, you know, gameplay mixes everything I've talked about previously. So, you know, if someone says, what would you rate the gameplay, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. That's kind of what this category for. Like, you know, gameplay is really important, so it gets its own separate category worth a couple more points. Now we have 2 more categories for the multiplayer. We're talking about DLC right here. We got the map pack DLC category worth 5 points, and the microtransaction and other DLC category worth 5 points. So map pack is getting 4 out of 5, and then the microtransaction slash others getting 5 out of 5. This game had a ton of DLC. The first 2 map packs were alright. Some of the maps were kind of, they were okay, and then some of them I didn't like at all. But the second 2 were absolutely amazing. And then the microtransactions, there were a abundance of things you could buy if you wanted to. You had the guns and the camos and the exos and helmets and extra armory slots and extra classes and just so much more. And then from the supply drops, you had some gun drops and different variants. And it was like you just had DLC coming at you almost every week, and if not, for sure, every other week. The DLC in this game was great. You know, this game had the best DLC, best customization, and the best progression hands down in any other Call of Duty. And, you know, a lot of that's due to supply drops. Supply drops were a very nice addition to the game. But those are all the categories we went through. So if we add up the multiplayer section, we have 52 points out of the 70 total possible, giving the multiplayer a 74% overall. Now if we add all these points up, we have 74 out of 100, giving it a 74%, a 7.4 on one of your gaming sites like IGN or something. Yeah, that's what I give the game, 7.4. That's a pretty accurate representation compared to other Call of Duties that I would give Advanced Warfare. So that's my review. We already talked about everything previously, so be sure to leave a rating down below in the comments. I'm pretty sure some of you may say this game's the best Call of Duty ever. This game is a 2 because it was the worst. Interested in seeing what you guys say down below in the comments. Let me know what you thought about my whole review and all that stuff. And with that, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully you enjoyed Advanced Warfare. With that, I'm Skater. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.